It's time to go to the Horsham District Football League report and even might get some netball update on the Jeparit Rainbow Storm. And big Peter Weir, he's back. He's back on the field. He's kicking goals and he's loving it for his green and white and grey blokes. And he joins me now. G'day, Peter. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, Wayne. And yeah, it was a great start, for the boys' first game at home. And there was a really good crowd there and good to see some old faces in the crowd. And I'm pretty sure they'll keep coming back if we keep delivering like we did on the weekend.
Well, I made the mention last week in our preview about the Keys, and I'm going to ask you about it in a minute. I want to first go to the other games. Edenhope Apsley 16-13 over Taylors Lake 14-8. Pretty good improvement here from Taylors Lake, but still haven't got a result on the board.
Yeah, they had the help of James Magnaflow, man, who played a lot of footy at Melbourne, who kicked 9 goals. But, up the other end, the Edenhope boys look to have recruited Cleve Hughes as an ex-Richmond player, and he kicked 7 himself. And, the Edenhope boys got over the line. But, a couple of well-known players to look out for in the league.
Harrow Balmoral over Nadimuck. This result's a bit scary, really. Balmoral was the ground, and Harrow 24-13 to the Sheep Paddocks 9-4.
Yeah, as we'll touch on a bit later, we play the Harrow boys, but all their prime movers are playing good footy as they always do, and that was too much for the Nadimuck team. Now,
these Caniva Cougars, it looks like what they're doing is they're looking to win close games. 18-715 to Pimpernio, 16-14-103. Their first round they won by 3 points. Their second round they pushed it out to 5 points.
Yeah, great confident boosting stuff for the Caniva boys, and to win those close games is so handy come later in the year. And obviously they've been doing some goal kicking practice over the pre-season because the straight kicking probably got them over the line against Pimpernio.
Dylan Bates and Fred Frew 7 and 6 respectively. Jason Westley is a good player. Lockie Jones showing up as always. Bo Noonan with 7 goals for the Caniva Leor side. That is a really interesting score sheet for the first up 2 wins in a row for the Cougars. Who would have thought that starting the year? Big win for the Swifts 27 over the Harrow 3-3. Not much we can read into that.
No, the Swifties would have been keen to bounce back after dropping that one to Caniva, and they did so pretty well against Lahara.
Rapanium 14-690 over Narrajua Quantong 7-14-57. And, that's a good bounce back from the Rupp side after the draw in the first round against Nadimuck.
Yeah, I'd imagine they would have unveiled the flag from last year in front of their home crowd, Flow Man, and got off to a great start, kicking 6 straight in the first quarter. And Narrajua Quantong were never able to make up the difference after that.
Nice barley growers, the Wiedemann boys, Jordan and Lachlan up there with Mitch Musgrove in the better players. Jack Musgrove kicked 5 and Blake Turner booted 4. Braden Nyson booted 3. 3 to Braden Culhane for the losers at the Narrajua Quantong Bombers. And we take a look now at the big one. You blokes 18-21-28 over the Keys, 6-6-42. And as I said last week, I can't remember where you started really straight out favourite against the Cowkey side in all the time you've been in the Horsham District. This time, I gave you favourite outright, and I think we had it right. That was a big win by you blokes.
Yeah, great result. We've obviously got some great additions on the field in Nick Yarron and Tommy Clark and a few others coming up from Geelong in Will Hutchinson and Sinner, we call him Flowman. I'm not 100% sure on the last name pronunciation there, but it was a great win and, Kalkee come at us like we knew they would and always do. But, it was so pleasing too going into that last quarter where we've got the habit of leading games by 3 or 4 or 5 goals and just ended up being a slog in the last quarter. But, to run away with a 15-goal win in that last quarter was great signs for the season to come.
All you got to do with the Sinner is add ski. And then you've got his name, Matthew Sinner-Adsky, a very good player and a good performance by the big fella, kicking 5, and he's back. Big Peter Weir having a look at the reserve grade, and it was a big flogging by them, 14-10 to 3-3. Would you be disappointed with that, or was there still a fair few blokes farming?
Oh, I thought they might have gone a fraction better, but Kalkee always have great depth and a strong reserve side. And, Justin Cousins best on ground, and he'll be back in the senior team this weekend.
Yeah, be good play. Jake Parry and Bailey Clark along with a good effort from Dean Perkins. 2 goals to Dean, and Aidan Gilligan, the other goal scorer. Spencer Weir was good and no relation to you, or was he distant relation?
No, I think he's with IGA at Donald and St Arnaud through the North Central there, Flowman. But I'm not 100% sure if there's any direct relationship there.
All right, Kobe Lang with 4 goals for them on the 2s result over to the 17s. And they gave you a bit of a touch-up here, the Keys. Have got some really good moving kids in their squad, and in the first quarter virtually got to the mercy rule on you. What was the difference? Did you get to see how good these kids are from Kalkee?
Yeah, Kalkee are just big and strong all over the field and just a little bit too good for our guys. And it's been a while since they have been mercy ruled so easily, but I'm sure they'll bounce back. And Seamus Clark played really, really well in the ruck, and Jamie Ekman, as you could imagine, was busy in defence. Yeah,
William Fisher and Bronte Effort to Joshy Schultz and Fletcher Keller also tried hard. It was 5 goals each to Benbow and Miller for the winning side. In the end, they were just way too good in that grade. And over into the 14s, and this was a close game. Could have been won by your fellas, and they had their chances, I'm told, but they just couldn't nail it early in the game. They led it, and then they just dropped their bundle in the third quarter a bit. They added 3 goals to your fellas, just the 1 goal, and the Storm were done. The Keys win at 5-3 to 4-6.
Yeah, it always hurts to lose close games, but it shows our under-14 boys will be around the mark again this year, and their leader, Lenny Weir, played well again, and Ryder Gould played well up forward.
Tell you what, Ryder is good. Kelly, Fletcher, Caleb Heinrich, Maxie Spokes, and this Clancy Weir has got his name in the best players, and well done to him. Goals came off of Fletcher Keller's boot, also Maxie Spokes, and Clancy and Lenny also added goals. The Weir boys kicking 7 amongst them across the day. The big Peter kicked 5 of them, so we'll just to keep that out there for young Lenny to be watching and listening to. This weekend, we go to this week's matches. We might actually get a comment. The Netty girls, how are they going at the moment?
They had a great season last year, Flo, man, and it's been reported all pre-season they had a really tough start to the year, and unfortunately have dropped both those games. They were really close to knocking Kalkee off on the weekend, which would have been a great win, but yeah, they look to this weekend against Harrow to try and get that first win on the board, and I'm sure they will.
All right. Other games before we get to yours as you go down there to Balmoral. Edenhope Habsley take on Kaniva-Leor. I reckon this is match of round type stuff down at Edenhope. And these are the battle of the southwest Victorian sides.
Yeah, it sounds silly at round 3, Flo, man, but I reckon personally probably only one of these 2 teams can play finals, so it's nearly almost a mini elimination, and whoever can win this game will give themselves a great chance to book in a spot in September.
What about this, Rapanyup and the Swifts, near neighbours at North Park?
Yeah, I think Rapanyup, Swifties are always hard to beat on their home deck, but Rapanyup, coming off a premiership last year, they took a little bit to get going in round 1, had a great win round 2. I think you've got to pick Rapanyup. All
right, and Pimpernaya and Laharam, this would be the first time we've ever, I think in our time, said Pimpernaya will win this easily.
Yeah, I think Pimpernaya on their home deck, maybe 5 or 6 goals, and look for the big ruckman in the centre to have an influence in the game. Although he'll be up against some good opposition, especially if Shannon Argle jumps himself in the ruck. Yeah,
Reece McNally and Argle, that'll be a good clash between those two. Nadamak and Narajua Kontong at the showgrounds. This is, I reckon, a good match of footy and very evenly matched. I just reckon the Bombers are just about ready to show something this year.
Yeah, a bit of rivals. The Bombers have obviously had a better start to their season, and looks like a few of their prime movers are back from injury and having an impact on the competition. But I just reckon Natty Muck at home in a real close one, Flo, man, will upset Narajua.
Kalkee play Taylor's Lake, and this is no easy match for the Keys at home. The Lakers could come in and snatch a victory here.
Oh, I think not the start Kalkee wanted, but I think you've got to back them against Taylor's Lake, and I think they'll get their game going and hit the scoreboard and have a bit of a feel-good win and get their season started.
How can you beat Harrow Balmoral? They've got magnificent recruits to the club. You go down there. You haven't won too many times down at Balmoral over the years. Can the Storm really show up with these big recruits that you've got and to take the points?
Yeah, as you said, Flo, man, every time you go down there, it seems like the close boys are playing really good footy, and Nick Peakin's just come off a good game, but that's why they're such a good club. They know what they're going to give every week, and then it's up to the opposition to rise to the challenge, and I think we're every chance this weekend with our recruits. We'll bring something different to the game, and as long as we can build on the form and use last week as a benchmark, I think we're every chance to come home with the points against Harrow at Balmoral, but yeah, as you said, it'll go down to the wire, and if we do, we'll have to bring our best footy.
The reserves, boys, top versus bottom.
Yeah, I think Harrow, the depth throughout the club, both on the football field and the netball court, and I think that'll be too good for our reserves, boys.
17s, that they're actually not going as well here. They're third on the ladder. Your blokes, after last week, a bit disappointed, but they might just bounce back and be much more competitive, but it's a tough ask.
Yeah, I think it must be just because there's some other good under-17 teams in the comp if they're third, Flo, man. I think, they'll be a bit too good for our boys again in that game.
Well, no good news for the under-14 lads. Harrow Balmoral are top of the table. However, your blokes have shown a little bit early, and let's hope that they can turn that form around from last week. A close loss that they probably should have won, and so they might come out smarting after that.
Yeah, I think our boys will put in a good performance, and it's great to see so many under-14 stick around for the whole day, Flo, man, and help run water in the reserves and seniors and run the boundary. And it just shows they're really loving their footy and enjoying their footy and supporting the club in the senior grade. So the under-14 great group coming through at the moment. Yeah,
just watch out for that boundary umpire in the seniors match, big Peter Weir. I see that a little fella running around, Lenny Weir, as the boundary umpire in the seniors. That could be interesting.
Yeah, I might keep him busy. If I've got a set shot from about 30 metres out, Flo, man, he might come into play.
Good stuff. You might be putting those arms out wide. Big Peter Weir calling it for the Jeparit Rainbow Storm report on the Horsham District Football Netball League, and we'll catch up with you next week.
No worries. See you, Wayne.